I make a living as a social scientist, and much of my time is spent working with and pondering the evils and dilemmas of our society. As I learned about Islam, I came to conclusion that the ills of society are fundamentally based on dysfunctional and harmful social behaviors. Since Islam is a style of life totally focused on a more positive and healthy way of driving our lives in every way, is and always will be the only true answer to all social dilemmas. With this realization, I not only decided that Islam it was relevant to my everyday life, but I began to understand why it is so different from other religions. Only Islam provides knowledge and guidance for all aspects of life. Only Islam provides a form of achieve health and happiness in all dimensions of life, physical, spiritual, mental, financial, etc. Only Islam provides us with a clear life purpose, And only Islam shows us how to live and contribute to a community and not just talk about it. Islam is what everyone needs and what so many have not yet found it and continue to search. It is the way to the purpose, meaning, health, and happiness. That's because it's the straight path to the source of all the power we need, God. Only when I actually became a Muslim I realized how comprehensive our lifestyle is. Literally everything that we are told to do has a purpose, to remember God. This simply shows the absolute and divine brilliance of religion, in the sense that there is a lifestyle that can show how to remember your Creator in one simple act: to greet someone, get dressed in the morning, or wake up. Islam shows us that by constant remembrance of God, everything we do becomes focused on Him, and thus becomes more and more intense. It becomes an act of worship. From this, our energy, thoughts, and actions are redirected and moved away from useless and harmful causes, focusing on the source of all the goodness. In this way, we are continually tapping into His strength, divine mercy, and grace. So, as we constantly remember God, we become stronger, better, and healthier in all aspects of our lives. There were and still are aspects of the Islam that proved difficult for me in some way. However, I thank you to God every day for the ease with which He has allowed me to make the necessary changes in my life so that I could continue to live in the America and being, inshallah, God willing, a good Muslim. As a white and middle-class American, many of the cultural aspects of Islam are very different than me, and those close to me throughout my life, we were used to it. In fact, when I finally broke the news to my family that I had made the Shahada and become Muslim, almost all questions and concerns were related to the cultural differences, marriage, social life, family, etc. There was much less concern for my general beliefs about God, and for the practice none. To my family, friends, and coworkers, to become Muslim was not necessarily seen as a negative change, but it required a lot of explanation about Islam. In fact, as well as my own education, this process of sharing the truth about Islam with them because there is no limit to the knowledge we can acquire, and it is the responsibility of each of us to share any knowledge that have. Once we acquire knowledge, correct is a fundamental component for the development of a Muslim. Having a teacher who taught me how to apply Islam in everyday life did all the difference and helped me manage the difficulties I experienced with my reversion. Having someone with knowledge to turn to when you have questions is a wonderful support that every new Muslim should strive to find. Or Islam is not a religion that can be rationalized in the way that Christianity and Judaism have been over time. It is a clear path that must be followed exactly as God has determined for us through the life of our beloved Prophet Muhammad and his companions and the scholars of Islam. In this current era, in this society, discerning the path can be difficult, especially when faced with constantly questions and doubts from people who on the surface may not be hostile to Islam, but whose general lack of faith can have a detrimental effect on one who bases everything he does on his love for God. It's not easy to be either in an environment where we are constantly bombarded with sensual temptations which are seen as commonplace aspects of everyday life. But when we have the support of an experienced and knowledgeable teacher, capable of, if he applies the universal teachings of Islam to his life, then the truth makes it distinct from error, just as God describes it in the Quran. From this we are able to understand how to apply Islam correctly to our own lives and thus receive many blessings from God. The supreme test, however, anyone who claims to have correct and true knowledge is see how they apply it in their own lives. If your actions support your teachings, then and only then turn to that person for guidance. My journey to Islam, though short, it has been a life-changing experience. It is one that every day that passes makes me more and more grateful to Almighty God. The extent of your mercy can only be fully understood from the perspective of one who prostrates regularly and submits his will to the will of his Creator. That's why I commit myself to Islam, and part of what jihad is the commitment that we must fight for every moment of every day, but that we love because we know who to turn to for support and who is helping us. I look back at my life before Islam and reflect on the different ways in which I sought guidance. I think of all the ideas I've had about who God really is and how we can grow closer to His. I look back now and smile and maybe even shed a tear, because now I know the truth. Through Islam I know why so many people who do not believe they have so much fear inside them. Life can be very scary without God. I know, because one day I had that same level of fear. Now, however, I have the supreme self-help program. It is the self-help program without the self. It is the path that puts everything in its right place. Now life makes sense. Now the life is in order. Now I know why I'm here, where I want to go, what I want that my life is, how I want to live, and what is most important not only for me, but for everyone. I only hope and pray that others who have not yet found the path may feel the same as I do. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise and thanks be to Allah, the Lord and Protector of all creation.